good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday, aka Hump Day. Yes. Uh, yep, it's Hump Day here Beyond the Airways, the Infinity Project. And since it's Wednesday, okay, what is going on with the chat room? Oh, well. It's like, okay, thank you. Finally. All right. Anyway, it is Wednesday. That means it's time for Warzone Wednesday. And it's actually the last one of 2020. I'm going to tell you why in a couple minutes. Okay? But in the meantime, we're gonna have the stories that'll make you laugh, think, cry, get upset. We're gonna fire off a rant rocket tonight because, or supernova rant rocket, because there is at least one story that is gonna make you mad, especially if you're trying to do everything right by COVID-19 right now. But anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I am Oddlog Stream. I'm currently joined in line by two of my crazy cohorts. First, we have our resident joker, Mike. Hello, Mike.
Good evening, happy Wednesday.
And we also have our sus, not a sus, Janet. Hello, Janet.
Hello. Hello there, everybody. I hope everybody's day has went better.
If Richard Nixon were alive, he'd be saying, I am not a sus.
You got that right.
Yeah, anyway, you know, hope everybody's having a good day. Mine's been okay. It's just that when I was trying to do something with a potential client, let's just say she had an emergency come up while my laptop decided to act up.
Well, hey, the timing couldn't have been any better.
Yeah, so we're gonna try to reschedule it.
Sounds good.
Yep. Now, now before we get started, I want to explain why this is going to be the last Warzone Wednesday of 2020. Next Wednesday, we're going to have a special guest on the show. Okay? Her name is LaShawn Colvin. She is the author and the artist behind her graphic novel Beautiful Soldiers, which she's doing on Kickstarter. And by the way, it's broke $10,000 now. So that's
Oh man,
terrific.
she's gonna have enough to get her graphic novel up off the ground.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm telling you, her artwork's amazing. But I spoke to her today at her comic book shop, which is only 5 minutes from my house.
You could walk there if you wanted to.
Yeah, I could, but it's on Perry Hill Road. That's one of the busiest roads in the city. I wouldn't feel comfortable walking. You know, it's a 5 minute drive from my house, though. I love it. But I mean, she's off and running. Her comic book shop's off and running, and I can't wait to have her on next week. So come in next Wednesday because we're gonna have our special guest LaShawn Colvin, and who knows,
Yeah,
we might be able to spread more about the Kickstarter campaign and maybe add more into the mix, right?
right.
Hopefully, yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, her goal was $8,000. She broke it in about a week, and now it's over $10,000 already. This is good. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't get me started.
Well, I'm really tired. And I just saw Sajo enter the chat room. Hello, Sajo.
Hello, Sajo.
So, Joe.
Hey,
Sajo, Sajo, Sajo. All right, let's see. Oh, yes, tomorrow, for me anyway, Cyberpunk 2077. I think did you get yours already, Mike, or not?
No, I will hopefully get it tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
It has been shipped today, but I have been watching it since, oh God, Co started at like 5 o'clock. I turned it on. I didn't know. I wasn't up at 5 o'clock. Sweet Jesus, no. But I had to turn it on because he was gonna play. He played for about 12 hours today.
Dang.
oh, I don't have the patience to play a game that long.
I don't either. I would have to like pause and like I'll come back to it like tomorrow or when I have time. You know what I mean? Because
I see.
that unfortunately that's my problem. You see, I like playing games and all. It's just that I know I cannot devote too much time to it from now. You know?
Yeah, 'cause you got a job.
Yep, I got a job. I have a life. No offense to anybody else. So yeah, no offense to
Um,
anybody. It's just that I have to be I
None
have to be
taken.
careful. I don't know what the hell I was doing just now. I'm being I'm being a nut. Which kind? I don't know. Cashew, peanut, walnut,
My one
pecan.
of my personal favorites is Brazil nuts, but it's fucking hard to get out of the damn shell.
Yeah, there are nuts that will drive you nutty, literally.
But I'm Tish.
All right. Well, anyway, I actually do.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah. Well, I actually do have a rant rocket story. I posted it earlier today.
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
The situation in Idaho.
I was thinking more along the lines of the mall Santa.
No, we'll get to that. But I
Okay.
got this one today because this one's a little bit more serious because let's put it this way: when the board of health is trying to hold a meeting about masks and people start surrounding their homes and such.
Oh yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
all
Yeah.
that.
All right.
And had a 12-year-old at home, right?
Exactly. All right. So let me fire the supernova rant rocket. Here we go. All right. As you can see, I already got the story up here. And in a nutshell, it's like this. An Idaho official left a meeting in tears as anti maskers swarmed her home. That is getting a little too. No, not a little too far. That's way too far. I'm gonna put that. Let me go put
I
that
hope the
link.
police busted. I hope the police got there in time and arrested as many of them bastards as they could.
Well, I'll tell you in a minute. All right, let's see. 12/09/2020. I'm glad 2020 is almost over. All right. But anyway, this was posted this morning at 4:12 Central Time. And here's what happened. Minutes into a public health district's virtual meeting to vote on a local mask mandate in Idaho on Tuesday evening, Ada County Commissioner Diana Laciando tearfully excused herself after getting a phone call that anti-mask protesters had surrounded her home. My 12-year-old son is home by himself right now, and there are protesters banging outside the door. She told the Central District Health's Board of Health, which serves 4 counties in the state's most populous region. I'm going to go home and make sure he's okay. Visibly upset, Lacinato then disconnected from the video call, leaving her colleagues at the meeting stunned. They soon learned that protesters had gathered outside the Central District Health Office and one other board member's residence as well, targeting the public officials who were meeting virtually from their homes and private offices as a precaution amid the worsening pandemic. I'm a father, and that's just unbelievable, David Peterman, a doctor who had been giving an update on the status of the coronavirus pandemic, said after Lanciando left the meeting. Hundreds of anti mask demonstrators poured out to protest a public health order that would have limited gatherings to fewer than 10 people and required face masks to be worn in public and private around non household members when social distancing is not possible, among other restrictions. More than 3,000 public comments have been submitted on the order between Friday and Monday, the Health District said in a statement. The Health District Board was set to vote on the order Tuesday evening. The Idaho Statesman first reported the abruptly terminated public meeting a short time after it ended on Tuesday. Police formed a barrier between Tuesday's protesters and the Central District Health Building as a precaution following a tense meeting last week. On Friday, when the health board met but decided to delay a vote on the public health order, anti-mask demonstrators tried to force their way into the building. Nobody was arrested. Wrong move, I think. The
Well, you know
protest.
what they ought to do with those anti-maskers?
What?
They ought to round them up and put them on an island right by themselves.
Well, that'd be kind of tough.
No,
I don't know if anywhere in Idaho's got an island, but
no, I mean not in Idaho.
hmm,
Stick them on a tropical island, a little island in the middle of no fucking where.
yeah. Well, anyway, the
That
protest.
way they wouldn't have to worry about wearing a goddamn mask.
Yeah, that's true. The protests on Friday and Tuesday were organized by a multi state network of right wing activists called People's Rights. The group was founded by Ammon Bundy, a vocal anti masker and anti government activist who gained national attention as part of the 2016 standoff between Patriot Movement extremists and federal police at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Oregon. Bundy was arrested in August at the Idaho Capitol after tying himself
Oh,
to a chair.
dog, did you
And
have to do that?
uh-oh, I ain't gonna ask.
You don't have to.
All right. Bundy was arrested in August at the Idaho Capitol after tying himself to a chair and refusing to leave amid an anti-mask protest. The group urged its followers to send emails to the Central District Health's Board of Health members and to show up to protest bigger, stronger, and louder on Tuesday night. A smaller group of counter protesters also showed up Tuesday at the Central District Health Building to support the coronavirus restrictions, displaying signs that detailed how many Idahoans have fallen ill and died in the pandemic already. Fewer than 15 minutes after Tuesday's meeting began, Boise police and Mayor Lauren McLean requested the board cancel it, citing safety concerns for police, staff, and board members who were dealing with protesters on their doorsteps. McLean condemned the demonstrators, who she said did not come from the local counties the health board represents. Our officers were asked to respond to people from outside our community whose purpose here was to disrupt local government in action to intimidate their families, McLean said in a statement. Said in a statement Tuesday night, "This is not okay. Let me be clear. We will hold offenders accountable." A Central District Health employee placed one protester under citizen's arrest for trespassing, and Boise police took custody of the individual a short time later, police said in a statement. That person, who was not named by officials, was booked at the Ada County Jail, police added. In addition to swarming Lanciando's home, protesters also showed up at board member Ted Epperly's house. Epperly, a physician in Ada County, said about 50 people were still outside his home as other members moved to adjourn the meeting early. He told the statesman the small crowd banged garbage cans, flashed strobe lights through his windows, and knocked on his door as the virtual meeting unfolded. Sadly, he told his fellow board members during the last minutes of the video call, it is not under control at my house and it's not under control at Diana's house. Just before 7 p.m. Tuesday, Laciando tweeted she and her son were safe.
Good.
Update, we're fine, she said. Thanks all for your concern and especially Boise PD for your help. Now, Idaho has reported at least 113,905 coronavirus cases and at least 1,074 deaths since late February, but those numbers have been rising more rapidly in recent weeks than in earlier phases of the pandemic. The state broke the record for its 7-day rolling average of new daily coronavirus cases on Tuesday. Counties around the state's capital have been hammered by the pandemic in recent weeks, and Boise area hospitals may be forced to ration care by New Year's Day if cases continue to rise, the statesman reported. Our community is being severely impacted by this virus, and our team members and board are working tirelessly to protect our community's health, Russ Duke, District Director for Central District Health, said in a statement Tuesday night. We simply ask that those who may disagree with these difficult discussion points and decisions do so in a way that is respectful and does not endanger our staff, Board of Health members, and our law enforcement, all who are critical in this response. Coronavirus restrictions have been a lightning rod for controversy in Idaho, where elected officials have publicly warred over pandemic rules. Even as local officials and the governor have tried to implement public health restrictions, Lieutenant Governor Janet McGeachin opposed those limits in an October video where she praised defending life and liberty with a gun and a Bible in her hand. Oh, wow. Some coronavirus skeptics in the state have gone so far as to falsely claim the pandemic may or may not be occurring.
There's still the doubting Thomases.
Yes.
Like I said, gathering up the anti-masked, put them in one big group on a small island and see how long they last.
Yeah. Anyway, the Central District Health's vote on a new public health order aimed at beating back coronavirus infections was delayed on Tuesday to an unspecified date. Meanwhile, Boise's mayor said the demonstrators crossed the line by showing up at board members' homes and intimidating their families. No child should be frightened by a mob of protesters, McLean said. No local official should fear violence for their public service. Which is so true.
I felt sorry for that 12-year-old boy that was at home.
Yeah, tell me about it. I saw this like, oh my fucking god, you're kidding. Okay, now let me go find that mall Santa. Mall and Nerf gun. There we go. All right. All right, so here we go. I'm going to make sure we get this in the story repository. Did you get out of my repository?
Mhm.
Oh, be glad you didn't say suppository.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that. But then I
Well,
could
only
try
by
it.
accident, the way you've been tripping over your tongue tonight.
Yeah. Dee Dee, get out of my suppository. I did that on purpose.
I know you did.
Mm-hmm. All right. So anyway, Mall Santa brings Nerf gun to boy who cried when told no guns for Christmas. Now this was obviously a different Mall Santa. So anyway, a mall in Chicago has apologized and delivered a surprise to a young boy who was told by a mall Santa Claus that he could not have a toy gun for Christmas. Video posted by the boy's mother on Facebook shows Michael asking Santa at the Harlem Irving Plaza Mall for a Nerf gun. Nope, no guns, the Santa replied. Not even a Nerf gun. If your dad wants to bring it to you, that's fine, but I can't bring it to you. What else would you like? The boy eventually breaks into tears. My poor baby, this was the first year Michael was excited to go see Santa. It was supposed to be magical, but instead I had to watch my sweet little boy fight back tears because Santa told him no because of his own personal beliefs, the boy's mother wrote in her Facebook post. I had to think fast and explain to him that this Santa was just a helper and not the real guy. I just wanted to console my baby and get him out of there. Flipping out on Santa would have only made it worse, she added. Video of the incident spread quickly on social media, with pro gun activists and conservatives decrying what they said was a political display. Let's see, and let's see. On Monday, Harlem Irving Plaza Mall published an apology and posted a video to its own social media feed showing a different Santa Claus delivering a massive Nerf gun to the boy's front door. How are you? The Santa asked Michael. So there was a mistake made yesterday. We are so sorry about that. The Santa said he heard about the incident up at the North Pole and rushed down to make sure the boy got the toy gun. This is crazy, the boy exclaimed. Let's see. In an update to her Facebook post, the boy's family said they were thankful the mall responded quickly and with kindness and understanding. And by the way, that mall Santa who caused all the trouble, fired.
Good.
Because it does not matter what the hell your personal beliefs are. You leave them at the door when you're a mall Santa.
Exactly.
Because that's just plain stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, it should not matter. I think something if someone's going to apply to be a mall Santa, the best thing to do is you better leave your politics at home
Right.
because that's not how this works. I mean, come on, it's Christmas. If you're gonna make it political, you shouldn't even be a mall Santa.
Well, I could give you a prime example of a good Santa. My friend Butch Brown that I told you about.
Hmm.
Because of the coronavirus, he's not doing it this year.
Right.
But he is Santa. He does it for charity.
Hmm.
He appears as Santa. He sounds just like him.
Hmm.
And he just listens to the kids. He does charity work.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful.
Hmm.
He told me that he loved the kids, he's in ill health.
Uh.
But he has done it every year. But just couldn't do it this year because of the coronavirus.
Hey, that's totally understandable. It's totally understandable right now. It's like a lot of us are, a lot of us like, when can we ever get back to some sense of normalcy? Now, I mean, it's good to see we're seeing some basketball being played, even though even the players have to be social distance on the bench, and there's really no
Yeah.
crowd. And I swear to God, the
Ah.
funniest thing ever. I was watching one game. I can't remember who was playing, but on the two sidelines, instead of like the cheerleaders and such, they were all stand-ups of Captain Obvious
Oh.
from the Hotel.com
Speaking
commercials.
of trying to get back to normal, Jeff Dunham had been self isolating in his home just about ever since the pandemic started.
Uh-huh.
I saw a clip of his first show. He's back touring, and you look out in the audience, and everybody that you see out in the audience, A little bit difficult to social distance, but they managed. But they were all wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny to hear Ahmed's ode to COVID
Mm-hmm.
up on the housetop during COVID. But I'll tell you what, Ahmed had the right idea.
Yeah.
He says, I'm up here so people can't cough on me.
Yeah. But anyway,
But
now I gotta tell you something. I gotta tell you something. There was a comment about doctors are learning that many of the patients that are currently admitted contracted the virus over the Thanksgiving holiday. Of course, this is UAB. Now, I'm not going to say this person's name, but here's what he said. I wasn't allowed to say anything until today, but it's now okay for me to share that I volunteer for the COVID 19 vaccine from Pfizer. The vaccine is one that has been developed in Russia. It is in 6 different stages, and I received my first dose at 6:20 this morning. And I want to let you know that it is totally safe and I'm okay, with no side effects whatsoever, and that I feel like I can't read the rest of it because it turned into acrylic writing. You know, what the like Russian acrylic writing, and
yeah,
at the end it says
Oof.
"com." At the end it says "comrades," and I
oh, that's
just
bad.
laughed so hard. It's like you just won. That's hilarious.
He's trying to make light and serious,
Yeah,
but you just about have to.
yeah. It's
You know,
tough. It's tough. It
I'll be
is
right
really
back.
tough. Okay.
it is tough.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm killing. Oh, I missed one. Damn it! I missed one up there. Can you hear my game?
Yeah, I can actually. That's okay.
It's not that loud, is it?
No, no, it's fine.
What are you hearing right now?
I don't know if I'm hearing yours or is it Mike's TV.
It's
Your game's
Mike's
not.
TV.
Yeah, that's all
Has
right.
to be.
Huh, television. But oh my god, I've been having a blast watching the old Price is Right episodes.
I wish that Drew Carey would do something with that beard of his.
Well, the problem is all the places are shut down. He can't.
That's right.
So that's really not his fault. Yeah, that's no fault of his. He can't do anything because all these hair
That's right.
places are
He's in
closed.
California.
Right.
He's in California, not here.
Right.
Well, come next week, I'm going to go get a haircut.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's a little curl in my neck, but it's annoying the crap out of me.
Yeah. I mean, I have not had to go back to great clips yet because my hair is doing pretty well right now.
Just like the nail polish on your toenails you got on the cruise back in.
2019, it lasted more than a year.
I've got some nail polish on my toes right now that's the same way.
Hmm. But yeah, hopefully in 2021, things will eventually get back to normal. It's not going to happen overnight though. That's the
You
fact.
know
No.
what?
That sadly is a fact. It's not going to happen overnight. As anybody who thinks it does, it's like no.
They're COVIDiots.
Yep.
Our mistake was opening up too soon.
Yeah, I think we all did. But now here in Alabama, as of I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. The our mask mandate got extended all the way to January 22nd.
Ours got extended until the 16th of this month. It was supposed to expire tomorrow.
Ours was to expire on Friday, but that changed as the numbers started going up. So,
Well, we have had an uptick in our coronavirus cases too.
uh-huh. And, now it's like it's 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, so it actually is making sense.
Yeah, just think
Yeah.
what had happened because the people traveled. They
Hmm.
wanted to see their families.
Yep, exactly. And it's so irritating that there's just people who just do not care. that this is
Oh,
going on.
Yeah, and we have the orange faced buffoon to thank for that.
Yeah. And speaking of buffoons, I don't know if you heard this one. I think it's like 18 states, including mine, are trying to sue four battleground states to flip the election back to Trump's favor. It's like, are you kidding me?
They aren't going to do it. They aren't going to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's like the Attorney General of Texas is trying to take that to the Supreme Court. It's like, really?
once that gets
Why
put
don't
on the
you
agenda,
assholes just give it up?
I don't
Why
know.
don't the assholes just give it fucking up?
I don't
Okay,
know.
who
It's
just
just
dinged?
not me.
that was mine.
Oh,
The Senate on Wednesday rejected.
yeah, this is just getting ridiculous. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, this is interesting.
What is?
All right, I just found this on the Hill. GOP Texas Senator questions legal theory behind Trump's lawsuit to challenge state's election results. Now, I'm gonna put this in here, but this is like why it's like he's thinking, why are they trying to do this? You know? So, oops, I forgot to put.
Republicans are going to be throwing a little tantrum come January.
I know. At least the Trumplicans are. I'm not.
Thank you, Frodo.
All right.
Is he going to be playing after the show?
I asked him, and he said, "Absolutely. Let me get my headset." Like, thank you.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Well,
All
anyway,
right.
here's what's going on. Texas Senator John Cornyn questioned why the state's Attorney General, Ken Paxton, believes the state's officials should have a say over how other states conduct their elections. Speaking with CNN's Manu Raju, love the name, Cornyn was referring to Paxton's claim that the results of voting in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia were tainted due to changes to election processes in those states. You know, it's very unusual because when a state sues a state, the Supreme Court of the United States has original jurisdiction, so you don't have to go through the ordinary procedure. I read just the summary of it, and I frankly just struggled to understand the legal theory of it, Cornyn told CNN. Number one, why would a state, even such a great state as Texas, have a say so on how other states administer their elections? The senator continued.
Exactly. What does a person in Texas have to do with how we run our elections in Arizona
Right.
or your elections in Alabama?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we have a diffused and dispersed system, and even though we might not like it, they may think it's unfair. Those are decided at the state and local level and not at the national level. So it's an interesting theory, but I'm not convinced. Very good. His remarks come despite Texas's other Republican Senator, Ted Cruz, reportedly agreeing today to the president's request for him to present the case before the Supreme Court should it decide to hear the case on the merits. The court moved Tuesday to dismiss an effort by pro-Trump attorneys to overturn election results in Pennsylvania in a separate lawsuit. Cruz had previously offered to argue that case before the Supreme Court as well. The president's legal efforts to overturn or invalidate state election results have seen no success so far. Dozens of individual lawsuits have been dismissed at the state and federal level over the past several weeks as Trump continues to refuse to accept President elect Joe Biden's win. And seriously, when the Supreme Court said denied yesterday, it's like, thank you. Seriously, thank you. But there are some seriously sick people. Yeah, and in the meantime, uh, I think somebody's trying to do something with me. Now someone talking about let's see, Doug Jones is now about to leave the Senate since he was voted out. And I said this, I said, and he also happens to be a leading contender for the Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney General. Now, here's what I said. If, and this is just if for now, if this does happen, Doug Jones could have the last laugh on Tommy Tuberville. Of course, as the sentence above says, the sentence says a decision hasn't been finalized and the dynamics could shift in the coming days, which is true. There's no decision right now. We'll just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, somebody just said I love your post and it got me attracted to your profile. Forgive me for infringing on your profile. I've been trying to send you a friend request, but it wasn't going through. But please, can kindly send me a friend request. It's like, I know what he's trying to do, and I'm not going to go for it. I'm not falling for it. You know what I mean?
Um,
Because that sounds like somebody's trying to do something with me. He's like, not happening. I'm not that kind of person. I hate it when people do that. But yeah. in the meantime, in the meantime, Janet, do you remember a person named Daria Brooks?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, she had been in one of the. You remember that group we left last year?
Yes.
She had been a member, but they started bad mouthing her. She left the group, and they started bad mouthing her. And and I said, and the two admins and I got together. And they said, "Well, could you have her join us?" I said, "Yeah, because I know her."
So she might be joining us on BTA.
No, no, no. She's talking about joining a different group on Facebook. Because
Okay.
that head admin on that group who's a bully.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I made somebody mad at me when I said, you're in a bad group when you're forced to post ever so often, even after a loved one has passed away. That was my final straw with that group last year. You get flagged for either a silly joke they don't understand or for posting radar images in the conversation. Let's see. You are forced to join conversations, even if it's 5 a.m. in Alabama. I know you'd never be able to join Janet because it's 3 a.m. where you are. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, 4 a.m. right now, not 3. Excuse me. But in the middle of
Uh,
the, but in the middle of the summertime, when you're 2 hours behind, it's like you are not going to have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's crazy. So
I find groups that have those kind of stupid fucking rules to be fucking retarded as hell.
yeah,
I'm glad you're here, Frodo.
oh, just got in.
Frodo, we are sus.
Yeah, I decided to sneak in today.
Cool. But
I
yeah,
noticed that.
but yeah, I mean seriously, the head admin of this particular group is a bully. Seriously.
And that's one thing I kind of think we need to bring up is there's a
Oh,
lot of bullying on Facebook, and it's getting to the point where it's really shitty as hell for
Yeah.
everyone that's a part of it.
That's true.
But speaking of
Agreed.
Facebook, we should really bring up the point that 48 states plus the District of Columbia have filed an antitrust lawsuit against
Yes,
Facebook.
I did hear about that. That's right. In fact, let me go find it. I
oh,
know.
tell Frodo the good news since he wasn't on when you gave the good news
Oh yeah,
about
Frodo.
LaShawn.
Yeah, Frodo. I don't know if you saw this. I know I posted in our group. Next Wednesday we're not doing Warzone Wednesday. We're gonna have our guest LaShawn Colvin, our local comic book artist who runs her own comic book shop.
Well, maybe we could have her as a comics contributor or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean we're gonna have her as a guest next week because we're also gonna talk about her Kickstarter campaign too. So
Yeah, but no. So to explain for those that don't know what antitrust means, uh, and it should be going off quite a bit more, but it's not. But antitrust basically says, you're cornering too big of a portion of the market. You are
mm-hmm,
too powerful. You need to be shut down or broken up. And the Department of Finance, I think it is, or Department of something, has a part in it, and basically is saying that they need to divest themselves of WhatsApp
mm-hmm.
and uh
Instagram.
yep, Instagram.
It looks like it's the Federal Trade Commission. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
FTC, I
FTC,
think.
that's
Okay,
it.
yeah, I've got the link to the story, so give me just a second. I'll put it in the chats here.
I thought
I,
Josie Morton and Emma Nichols were friends.
No, they're not. They aren't.
I know. Got Emma on a block list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What am I trying to do? Oh yeah, the
Okay.
Discord. All right, now
Oh,
let me activate the window
did you
here.
see the second post I did, Shirley, on our group?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, there we go.
But
Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think that this is possibly going to be pretty big issue. I don't think it's going to be something that'll be easily swept under the rug
Mm-hmm.
because the fact that the Federal Trade Commission is pushing this antitrust on Facebook is saying that they have gotten way, way too powerful in social media. And it's true. We can't deny it.
Right.
That is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every site you go to that has a login has an option for a Facebook login.
Right.
Every single one.
Mm-hmm.
And while it is convenient as fuck, and I won't be the one to deny that, it can also be a security risk.
That's true. Because
You mean logging into Facebook to play games?
It can be a
I don't do it if I can help it.
yeah, I do it only because it's convenient, but I mean, I really shouldn't
mm-hmm.
because if one person gets access to my Facebook that I don't want to have access, then they could theoretically have access to all those other things which have more information about me. I mean, you guys know I don't put my real name up on Facebook except in kanji.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that intentionally to hide myself a little bit because even though I want to be on Facebook, even though I want to have a presence on Facebook, I don't want every Tom, Dick, and Harry to know exactly who I am.
mhm.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So I
Eh,
have a pseudonym for that reason.
gotcha. All right. Let's see. Well, anyway, this is the story. This is courtesy of CNN Business. If I can get this over here. All right. Dozens of states and the federal government sued Facebook today in twin antitrust lawsuits, alleging that the social media giant has abused its dominance in the digital marketplace and engaged in anti competitive behavior, which I agree with. The Federal Trade Commission, in particular, is seeking a permanent injunction in federal court that could, among other things, require the company to divest assets, including Instagram and WhatsApp, effectively breaking up Facebook as we know it. The states are also calling for the company to be broken up, if necessary. Personal social networking is central to the lives of millions of Americans, said Ian Connor, director of the FTC's Bureau of Competition, in a statement. I didn't even know they had a Bureau of Competition. uh, Facebook's actions to entrench and maintain its monopoly deny consumers the benefits of competition. Our aim is to roll back Facebook's anti competitive conduct and restore competition so that innovation and free competition can thrive. The parallel lawsuits, months in the making, represent an unprecedented challenge to one of Silicon Valley's most powerful corporations. The complaints zero in on Facebook's acquisition and control over Instagram and WhatsApp, two key services in its social media empire. Facebook announced in 2012 that it was buying Instagram for $1 billion. 2 years later, it announced a $19 billion acquisition of WhatsApp. The suits come roughly 14 months after New York Attorney General Letitia James announced that her office was leading a group of attorneys general in investigating Facebook for potential anti-competitive practices. More than 40's for, nah, try that again. More than 40 attorneys general ultimately signed on a Wednesday's complaint. The FTC, meanwhile, has been conducting its own antitrust investigation of Facebook since June 2019. For nearly a decade, Facebook has used its dominance and monopoly power to crush smaller rivals and snuff out competition, James said at a press conference today. By using its vast troves of data and money, Facebook has squashed or hindered what the company perceived to be potential threats. The state suit calls for a court order requiring Facebook to notify state officials of any future acquisitions valued at $10 million or more. The most important fact in this case, which the Commission does not mention in its 53-page complaint, is that it cleared these acquisitions years ago. Jennifer Newstead, VP and general counsel at Facebook said in a statement, the government now wants a do-over, sending a chilling warning to American business that no sale is ever final. People and small businesses don't choose to use Facebook's free services and advertising because they have to. They use them because our apps and services deliver the most value, Newstead said. We're going to vigorously defend people's ability to continue making that choice. Although regulators may not have opposed the WhatsApp and Instagram deals at the time, competition watchdogs have every right to change their minds in light of new evidence, said William Kovacic, a former chairman of the FTC. Excuse me. There's nothing in
Look
U.S.
on a
merger.
nice view.
There's nothing in U.S. merger law that says an agency's decision not to challenge a proposed deal immunizes that deal from future review, he said. And you know what? Let me grab some water real quick. I got it right over here.
Okay.
Ugh.
Basically, the boiled down of this story is that the Federal Trade Commission and other states are looking at all the stuff that Facebook does with a very deep magnifying glass because this is Facebook's gotten to the point where it can literally be called a monopoly. Now, for those that don't understand, I'm not talking monopoly like the board game.
No, we're talking a real monopoly in business.
And to explain why that happened, why these rules came into play. Back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there were some
Mm-hmm.
businesses, including the Standard Oil Company
Yep.
and a few others, that got to the point where they were literally the only game in town.
Yep.
In fact, Standard Oil got to the point where they could charge whatever they wanted for the for what they had, which tended to be gas and oil
Oil.
and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They could charge whatever they wanted, and because they were the only game in town or in the country at this point,
Mm-hmm.
since they were the only game in the country, you had to pay their wildly inflated prices or you didn't get oil.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally that. Now, Facebook may not be charging for their services, but it is still a trust because everything almost on the internet has some aspect of what's called the Facebook markup language,
Yeah.
FBML. Now, to explain, most internet sites use HTML. Facebook created a variant of HTML called FBML, which allows for websites to integrate portions of the Facebook platform into their website
Mm-hmm.
without really having to pay for it. But the thing is, whenever you add FBML to a website, you also add tracking capabilities for Facebook to be able to trace what's going on that website with all the inputs and outputs and all the data that goes through that website. So FBML, while it may be convenient, it is it is really overstepping what is supposed to be. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know if everybody knows this, but Facebook also owns Oculus.
yes they
Yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can
No
add
wonder Oculus is so expensive.
but it looks like FBML may have been depreciated for SHTML
Mm-hmm.
or HTML version 5,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that FBML's calls to the Facebook master servers don't still exist in some way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
And
could I ask you a seemingly dumb question?
yeah,
Facebook is going to do away with Flash
No,
at the end
Adobe.
of
No,
this
that's
month.
Adobe. That's Adobe, not Facebook.
uh,
Adobe's doing away
Facebook
with.
has face
So I've got a question. What can we use in the place of Adobe Flash?
HTML5 is all we've got.
Yeah.
The thing about it is the reason that's happening is because Flash is inherently insecure.
Yeah.
Um, a specially crafted web page can use a Flash object inside the page
Mhm.
to garner anything from your computer. Most Flash is used in a sandbox,
Mhm.
but there are tricks in Flash to allow you to escape that sandbox. And once you escape that sandbox, you're able to access anything and everything on your target's computer. That is the security risk that is Flash.
Mhm.
And several years ago, and Oracle, who makes Java,
Mhm.
uh, Microsoft, uh, Linus Torvalds, uh, Red Hat, Canonical, Apple,
Mhm.
all saw the different calls that was going on in the Flash applets and rose an alarm that said, Flash may be quote unquote in a sandbox,
Mhm.
but it's not hard to escape that sandbox.
Right.
And escaping a sandbox that is put up for security is one of the worst things a program can do.
Mhm.
So Adobe did some looking into the code of Flash and found that there really was no way to update the ability to escape the sandbox
Mhm.
out of the code. So they decided for security purposes, um, they made the decision to depreciate the Flash code as of the 31st of this month,
Mhm.
which is a smart play.
Mhm. Because unfortunately things get old. They don't operate as well, and when they stop putting the updates, that adds more to the risk.
What right, and that's why right now, if you're running Windows XP or Windows 7, I highly suggest upgrading to Windows 10.
Yep.
Um, because there are always going to be exploits in operating systems that a clever cracker can use
Mhm.
to get into your system and fuck around with it.
Yep.
And the older an OS is, the more well known these exploits are. The more well known these exploits are, the more likely they are to be exploited in the wild.
Mhm.
And in fact, there was a bug a few years ago called WannaCry.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
Okay. And WannaCry was so bad because it attacked a specific call that Microsoft's Windows OS makes to different components of your hardware. And WannaCry
I'll be right back.
actually forced Microsoft outside of their statement of Microsoft Windows XP no longer being supported.
Mhm.
It actually forced them to make an emergency patch to Windows XP to prevent WannaCry from killing computers. So when exploits like that happen, they aren't play things.
Okay.
It could actually fuck up your computer.
Yeah.
Oh, it can do more than fuck up your computer. Let me just put it this way. Your computer is connected to a network, okay? First your home network. So the computers in your home, the computers that your parents use, the computers that your family uses. the TV device, the connected TV devices your computers use, the game consoles in your local area. Okay? That's one stage of a local network. Beyond that, you're talking about a neighborhood network, which means pretty much everyone in your block or
Oh
like
God,
like a
tell me
seven block
about it.
like a
Hmm.
7 block radius of you.
Yeah.
And then you've got a city network, then you got a state network, then you go outwards even further. Here's the problem. Some of these bugs that are found can actually escape your home network
Hmm.
and mess around with people in your neighborhood network.
Hmm.
Now, think about this. If a really well crafted hack happened, you wouldn't even have to know that you were hacked,
Hmm.
and everybody in your area's personal information could get sold on the dark web. That's not even a joke. That's
No, I believe you.
serious.
Mm-mm. I believe you. Anyway, there's more to this. Much of the scrutiny of Facebook concerns the companies it has purchased to build up a massive audience that now totals more than 3 billion, with a B, users across its portfolio of apps, according to its financial statements. That dominance has raised questions by some legal experts, including U.S. lawmakers, about whether Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg set out to neutralize competitive threats by gobbling them up. As the drumbeat in Washington against Facebook has grown louder, the company has had years to prepare for a showdown. It's moved to tightly integrate its apps on a technical level, a decision some critics have suggested is a strategy to frustrate any potential breakup. It stepped up its hiring of lawyers with antitrust and litigation experience, and the company has fine-tuned its talking points, setting on a narrative that Facebook welcomes regulation, but that in cracking down too hard could risk giving other countries like China a competitive edge in the fast-moving technology sector. Today's legal action makes Facebook the second global tech company to be taken to court by the U.S. and state government officials this year over antitrust concerns. In October, the Justice Department in 11 states filed a lawsuit against Google, alleging that it had stifled competition to maintain its powerful place in online search and search advertising. Google, Google, Google has called the suit deeply flawed and that consumers use Google's platform because they choose to, not because they are forced to. The last major tech antitrust suit before that, experts say, dates back to the U.S. government's landmark case against Microsoft in the late 1990s and early 2000s.
Hmm.
Facebook and Google aren't the only tech companies of concern among policymakers. U.S. officials have increasingly probed the entire tech sector for potential anti competitive behavior, giving particular focus to the big four firms that now touch every corner of our lives. The scrutiny has ranged from Apple's control over the iOS app ecosystem to Amazon's treatment of independent sellers on its e commerce platform. In Facebook's case, government officials will need to prove in court that the company's alleged misconduct led to real world, measurable harms to consumers or competition, said Hal Singer, an economist and antitrust expert at George Washington University's Institute of Public Policy. It doesn't have to be a price effect, it could be some privacy things, Singer said, but you have to show it casually. According to the state suit, Facebook's alleged misconduct has resulted in consumers being harmed. Internet users have fewer choices among social media platforms and poorer experiences, the complaint said, while the tech industry has suffered from reduced investment in potentially competing services. In another critical allegation, state officials have said Facebook opened its platform to third party app developers to draw them into the company's orbit, then cut off their access to Facebook's services once Facebook perceived them to be a competitive threat. Singer said that if
That's
it.
chicken shit, just like the guys who split out of Among Us because they're losing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see.
Well, I wanna comment on something that was mentioned
Okay.
in the story.
Uh huh.
Apple.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few more than a few bones to pick with that company. That one could be a full episode.
Mm-hmm.
But to
Reader's
boil,
Digest condensed version.
oh, it's gonna be more in a Reader's Digest. I have issues with how Apple's programs are very closed off to people who want to make them better.
Mm-hmm.
I have an issue with Apple's processes when it comes to handling repairs.
Uh-huh.
I have problems with how Apple treats non-registered um, non-registered repair
Products.
shops, and I have a problem with Apple trying to push the right to repair as something that we do not have.
Mm-hmm.
To explain the last two parts, there are companies out there. I'm going to name one of them right now. Rossman Group out of New York, who specialize in fixing, repairing, and maintaining Apple products, MacBooks, iPhones, et al.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And Apple has been pushing states for years, to repeal the right to repair from consumers and to have the option to choose where you go. This is akin to your car, Shirley.
Mm-hmm.
What make is your car?
It's
What
a Honda.
company?
It's a Honda.
Okay, so this is akin to Honda locking out your car to the point where if you even think of going to a repair shop that Honda themselves doesn't agree with, they just shut your car off
Mm-hmm.
and it won't start.
Right.
This is exactly why I don't go with Apple. Why I'm not a fan of them is because of these practices.
Mm-hmm.
To
I
me,
do
Apple
not
products are severely overrated. Give me an Android any
it's
day.
it's not just that they're severely overrated, it's the fact that they're severely hindered
Mm-hmm.
because in order to do anything to make the device yours, you have to jailbreak it. And a jailbreak in many ways will cancel out your warranty with that phone. And that's a problem because if I want, let's say, to change the color scheme of my iOS phone,
Mm-hmm.
hypothetical, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I have to go through jailbreak it and then download apps through Cydia to change it to a dark theme because my eyes hate the light themes.
Yeah, and for me, I'll be honest, having a dark theme has been good for me too, because I see things a lot better with it.
Well, and this is just what I'm saying. Okay, when you make it so that the user of your program or your device doesn't have options, okay, you piss them off. Straight up, you piss them off. Am I wrong?
Nope.
That's why I like Android because you have options. You can choose what to do.
That's cool.
Like right now, okay, this isn't exactly Android, but on my Kindle,
Well, actually, that is Android.
Mm-hmm.
okay, on my Kindle, they had this background that I liked. I didn't like the previous background I had, so I put my whale background on it. I changed all kinds of different shit on it.
Yeah. I mean, you could change your background on iOS, but that's about the limit of your customization. You can't you can't change how the icons on the screen look. You
You can do
can't
it with Google.
you can do it with
Mm-hmm.
Android, but you can't do it with anything with Apple, and that's something that really pisses people off,
Right.
me included.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it,
But
I just did this one.
this is why people get pissed off with tech companies, especially Apple,
Mm-hmm.
because they try and tell you what you want. You
Yeah.
want this. And then again there was also the fact that Steve Jobs was willing to go to thermonuclear war over Android even existing.
Well, Steve Jobs can do this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm just saying this is the fact. This is the fact that people need to realize. Yeah, Facebook controls a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Apple controls a lot of shit.
Right.
Google controls a lot of shit. Amazon controls a lot of shit. Those four can easily get broken up into tiny little pieces.
Right.
The thing is, they'd still make tons of money. They're Apple fanboys that exist, and trust me, they do exist, would still suck down the iOS stuff, would still suck down the Macs, would still suck it all down because, oh, Apple can do no wrong. Wrong. And if anyone's interested in more about like how people repair Android Apple devices, I'm gonna tell you go to YouTube and look up Rousman Group.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll actually pull it up and give you guys uh,
The story, the link, the something.
the link. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, there's just three more paragraphs here. They're fairly short. Singer said that if Facebook is ultimately deemed to have violated the law, the company could try to forestall a breakup by arguing that its services are too highly integrated to be unwound. But he said it would be up to the courts to determine whether that is a persuasive argument. As the Microsoft case showed, antitrust lawsuits can take years to play out, but they can ultimately have an enormous impact. Experts credit the Microsoft suit, which was eventually settled, with paving the way for Google's rise. Similarly, a court ruling that breaks up Facebook or imposes certain behavioral limitations could have wide ranging effects on what new startups may emerge and what products consumers see in the marketplace. And that's the end.
All right. So I just put into the Twitch chat the
Uh
link
huh.
for the Rousman Group.
Yeah.
He
Shirley, don't forget to put the article link in the archive.
Okay.
it is really interesting to watch him do his thing. And I'm gonna just say this right now. If you're at all interested in how people actually repair devices,
Mm
look into it. It's really interesting.
hmm. Okay. Cool. I'll keep that in mind. Oh, there's me. Oh no. I get tired.
You're always tired.
No.
Well, look at what time the girl gets up, Frodo.
I know.
Alright, well, anyway, we do need to start wrapping this up for tonight. But anyway, here's what we're going to do. Tomorrow, we're going to forego Mad Libs. We're going to do Among Us. Now that we figured out what the problem is.
Ah,
Yep, it's going to
damn you, you stupid bird.
be. Yep, we're gonna do the whole show with Among Us tomorrow, and then Friday we're gonna do family friendly cards against humanity.
Yep. And I want to say to everyone that listens to our show, thank you for sticking around and enjoying our content. Apologies if sometimes I ramble,
Mm-hmm.
but I have good reasons to say what I do.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to the technology world, I've had both my feet entrenched in the technology world since I was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So 30 years.
Yeah.
So I know what's up.
All
Well,
good.
yeah. Well, anyway, um, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna play the ending, and then we'll wrap up for the night. So let me get down there to this.
I'm
Where
back
are
to
you?
playing Angry Bird.
Angry
Angry
Birds.
Birds.
A bird.
Alright, so I'm just going to say this. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Everybody have a great night. Sleep well. Stay safe. Stay warm in some cases. And we will see you tomorrow for Among Us night. So, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Night, y'all.